Hello. So I'm probably be winging it a little more than usual today, although I wing these quite a bit on average. Kind of spend the evening trying to figure out what the hell I want to talk about today. Didn't really do much. I was thinking about going out and do some filming tonight. Maybe heading downtown. Didn't make it out of the house in time. So maybe heading down and do filming at the skating rink down at Pershing Square, but I said didn't make it out of the house in time. And unfortunately, downtown LA in the evening is kind of hell to find parking. So I was like, I don't want to deal with driving around for 20 minutes trying to find a spot. As such, I was kind of left with another day of talking head. And I was telling you guys about what the YouTube videos I watched today probably would be that interesting. But one of the thoughts I've had kind of like going around the back of my head actually quite a while, but last few weeks, or the last few years, but was this sort of crazy roundabout way that social media started taking me back to things I had when I was a kid. And what I mean by this is that I've ended up having like weird kind of pen pal experiences because of Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Like relationships that are based on maybe one meeting or never meeting anybody, but trading letters, or in this case, emails. It's been a kind of a fascinating experience. I'm turning 40 in 11 days now, 12 days, 11 days, somewhere at the point, a little week and a half, and so I grew up in that that weird. I think the. Somebody called it like it was like a generation between the first and last Star Wars movie, original trilogy, the good ones. And so I remember being around the birth of the internet. I had life before that, life after that. So a lot of people who are around born afterwards would probably have no idea what I mean, but prior experiences. And I consider myself a fairly tech savvy individual, but. I don't know why I threw that in there, but there's this interesting thing recently. Like a lot of social media for the long term social media for most of us. Like Facebook is keep track of our high school friends. We have to actually talk to them, and there's a fair amount of that. Like you can have your great friends you never have to call because you can see what they're doing all the time. But I've managed to get in touch with people who I maybe met once in a long time, or in the case of the two people that I'm going to discuss right now, one of which was a model photographer that lives on the East Coast that I talked about shooting a while back. Didn't scheduling to happen, but ended up keeping in touch and having these rather long chains of emails, trading back and forth, which I'm working on right now to send back to her. And I'll come back to that. And the other person was somebody that I knew the periphery of high school. She was 3 years younger than me, 4 years younger than me. Anyway, I think she was maybe freshman or senior. So did no real interaction, just knew of her because hey, friends, younger siblings, classmate kind of deal. But what both these people have in common, and the reason I kind of bring up is they're both artists. They're both excellent photographers, which is kind of why I've kept in touch with them and chat and stuff. Now, the woman from my past, so to speak, I did actually hang out with her last spring. I invited her to a show, and her and her boyfriend came to one of the Leopard shows. So I get to actually hang out a little bit. And I'm gonna go see her next week when I go up to Seattle. I'm heading a day early because we're gonna do some shooting and do some art projects. But anyways, roundabout way, all this stuff. One of the things I'm really enjoying about social media currently, if you take away all the bullshit of it, is I've been connecting with these really cool artists and having these art-based conversations, which is something I adore. Like my favorite two favorite YouTube channels now are the Hollywood Reporter of all things, because their roundtable discussions are just fantastic, and the Art of Photography, because it's all about photography and artists, and the guy who runs it, it's Ted Forbes, does these fantastic, like, in-depth interviews or profiles of famous photographers and their work, which is just great. Highly recommend check it out. Art of Photography, one of the great channels on YouTube. But the two people that I'm keeping in touch with currently on this little rant that I'm going on, or tangent, I get to bond over, people with that I've never met over photography, which is just such a really joyful thing for me. And wow, I'm just really rambling here. Sorry. I don't know. I guess I just kind of want to like share that little insight of me, I guess, a little bit. That's just something that I find really important, and the art community is something I highly value. It's kind of one of the reasons I'm actually contemplating, one of the reasons I am going to move out of LA. When I first moved to where I live now, my neighbors were fashion designers. I had this great, like, kind of art scene I was, getting plugged into, and they're gone. My friend Lauren moved today. Another photographer gone. So, like, my art community started to fall apart. And since I live up in the mountains, I'm not really part of a scene or anything like that. I don't go to galleries a lot because it's a long ass drive. And really the art, the media in this town is shit for letting you know what things are happening. So I'm looking forward to, I'm looking for a kind of more cohesive, not necessarily small town, but more of a tighter knit artist community in a physical sense. But I've been finding that in an online sense quite a bit lately. And it's been a lot of fun to find people who I can just, chat with just purely on, geeking out of photography and going, oh my, did you see this shot? This is amazing. This person's work is awesome. What do you think of this? How does it affect you? Would you, what do you want to do next? What's your current project? That's been a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm just kind of rambling about a little bit here today, but so I'm going to throw this out to you guys now. So, as we're all somewhat social media people these days, if you're watching me on YouTube, we probably have Facebook channels and all that fun jazz. Hell, I went back to Friendster, back at the beginning. R.I.P. Friendster. What has been your most unexpected social media connection? Whether it's been reconnecting with a long lost friend or something. What's been the most unexpected unexpected connection you guys have made through the available social media? I do think it is, it can be a valuable thing. It's not to be bad stuff. I was actually chatting with a friend of mine on Instagram, all things, even though she lives here. And she was struggling to kind of come to terms with, basically her social media presence. Why is she doing it? And she's an artist. She's a fire performer. Sam, you guys probably seen her on the vlog before. And I basically told her, like, look, there's a lot of crap on social media. There's a lot of fake news and things. But I think there's also some extreme value to it, whether it's purely as a marketing standpoint as an artist, connecting with fans, whatever, or just the fact that you can find out what happened to that person that I knew 20 years ago, and keep in touch with them and reconnect. I think it's there's some coolness to it. So that's what I want to know from you guys today. What's your most unusual, unexpected, awesome connection you've made through the wonders of the World Wide Web? So there you go. Tomorrow morning I have Christine coming by, who is my prospective tenant, I guess, for while I'm on this tour. So she's coming by to check the house and I show her all the quirks of this little weird place I live in, which there are a lot. And past that, I'll probably go to work for a little while because I got some shit I gotta do, get some computer files. Also, sadly, I have to wait till Monday for this to happen. The rest of my lighting stuff came in to build my lights because I was actually doing some cool, awesome shots of me typing the computer here, working on a letter. But the lighting I have in here is so stupidly huge, take up so much space that I can't really fit in a tripod or anything else, or get a slider going, because my office is a little cramped. So as of Monday, when the last piece, which is basically the dimmer for my my LED package arrives, I'll build up all my flat LED panels and get rid of this gigantic beauty dish that I have behind the camera. So there you go. Hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday, because I still will be watching on Sunday. And I shall see you all tomorrow. Thank you for stopping by.